Dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, absolutely.
Well, welcome to Barstool.
Dude, oh my God. Starting off so hot. Okay. Is there anyone else we should name drop right in the way? Just, get it out of the way early.
Yeah.
Hey, David Lee Roth, we're talking to you, man. I don't know. That felt like a good name.
Yeah. David Lee Roth is a good name. Hi, I'm Chris.
I'm Alex.
Welcome to Dude.
Absolutely. Oh, man. I'm so excited.
Dude, absolutely. I am also excited.
I mean, when you brought this up to me, I was like, we've kind of wanted to do this, I feel like, for a long time, and then you brought it up, and then you said the name, and I was like, oh, dude, absolutely, we're doing this.
Well, yeah, we always have our conversations always steer in the direction of like, okay, we have to end the conversation now.
Right.
Like it feels like almost every time.
It's like when
you
and the kids and the wifey came over last week, was it? I don't know. Something like you just dropped in and you were there for 3.5 hours because we just like can't stop talking. It's like that's what happens. So I don't know. You brought it up that I mean, I'm so jacked right now. I've been thinking about. Oh my God. I've been thinking about it all week. I had Taco John's today, which by the way, I do want to point this out. Taco John's is the whitest Mexican restaurant ever.
Yeah.
They call it Taco John's.
Yeah.
Not Taco Juan's.
I know.
I don't know if this is right or not, but like I don't think there's any Mexicans named John.
I think there was just some guy named John who said, I can make tacos.
Dude, they put like fried potatoes and like so much cheese and like it's literally like the calling to like white people like, hey, you can eat this stuff too.
Yeah, it's like what Taco John's looks like what a white Midwesterner thinks Mexico looks like.
For sure. But also, I love Taco John's.
Of course.
Taco John's rips. They do have some like really bad food, but it's like the bad food where you're like you kind of feel naughty when you're eating it, so you're like, ooh.
The whole time. This was a long time ago, but when the Taco John's opened up in Monticello, I was on my lunch break. And the Taco John's had closed down because it had like just opened up, so it was closed because something had gone wrong. I drove to Buffalo, went and grabbed potato olays, and then went back to work.
I feel like everybody has I did X or Y just to get potato olays story.
There were customers like parked in their cars waiting for me to get back.
It's so funny.
And I wasn't gonna not walk in with the food, right? Because it was wintertime, so I'm not gonna let that shit freeze.
Oops, sorry.
So it's like we all know why I'm late.
Olay. Okay, so you texted me yesterday, and I told you I was waiting to watch it, and then last night,
oh yeah,
like Caitlin and I didn't get to bed until super late, or she didn't get to bed, and then as she goes, so I read to her usually before bed.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I just like doing it. She likes it. It puts her to sleep.
Yeah.
I think that's why she likes it, because it's so boring that she's like, okay, I'm done. But anyway, so I was reading to her, and took a lot longer for her to fall asleep than usual. Mm. So it was late, and I went out and I turned on Norman's new special, and I fucking passed out like midway through, dude. I was so pissed when I woke up this morning. I was like, oh my God. But dude, that first half is fire. It's so good. It's so good. I can't believe it didn't get picked up.
I thought it had been delayed, unless I misunderstood.
I think what he did is he like hired a film crew to come in and record it, and then he tried to sell it or like have somebody pick it up because he had already planned on recording. And I think maybe what he had either like anticipated that something was going to happen with one of these companies and they were just going to jump on, or he was recording it with the hopes to be able to sell it to one of them. But like, it sounds like nobody wanted it, which is insane because we've talked about this before, I feel like, but he's the best, in my opinion, like right now, joke teller that like maybe exists.
Yeah. Well, because it's not stories.
Ever.
Those are like the actual structure of how jokes are supposed to be written.
Exactly. All of them.
He's the only one that I can think of that does that right now.
But he can do it with like topically, like he can hit like 6 to 10 punchlines on one topic with different setups, like inside the same topic, which is, I feel like, what makes him so good.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're constantly getting hit with punchlines. It's not like Mike Birbiglia will have like a 3-minute setup to a killer punchline, but like you got to be invested.
Yeah.
Whereas like Mark will just, I mean, it's just, it doesn't end. I mean, you're constantly on the edge of your seat ready to like get, and they're all just like, dude, he doesn't care. And that's the beauty of it. He doesn't care what it sounds, or how it comes across. He just writes jokes.
He sounds like, I don't know how to say this other than how I'm going to say it, which is he sounds like an autistic person that keeps getting surprised in little bits. And so he just rebuttals with whatever the first words that he can think of come out.
Doesn't he like open with the, I think I'm autistic? It's just like none of the good parts. I just like give weird hugs.
That's such a good line.
It's a good line. And like he also, I feel like, touches on really hot button stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For like, at least for the first half. That's what I noticed. Who's calling me? Obviously. I'm going to just...
You gonna plug it into your dongle?
No.
Okay.
You can just... I'm just going to ignore it. I never do that. Ever. This might be the first time that's ever happened.
Wow.
I'm going to text her, though.
I was going to say, she's going to think you're being robbed.
Super worried about it. I'll text her quick, though. Hey, sorry, we're recording. I'll call you after. Love you. You're amazing. Heart face. Heart again. Heart eyes. That's actually what I sent, by the way.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, it's I'm such a douche. Anyway, so did you see Seinfeld's new one?
That's funny. I fell asleep watching that one.
I wanted to fall asleep watching it.
I think you and I talked about that.
Yeah.
How the way that his like smugness and arrogance, but it's undeniable.
Right.
Like how, like I watched that Michael Jordan documentary, and at kind of the height of Jordan's career, Seinfeld showed up to a game and went to say hi to him, and was like, figured, biggest show of the 90s, biggest NBA star of the 90s, we should meet. And it's like,
that's what he said?
Yeah.
What a prick.
I know.
It's like, maybe we talked about this. I don't like him.
No.
But like you said, it's like you have to kind of respect him because he's great. But also like, what a dink, Like, why would you? I don't know. You can tell. You for sure can tell, especially in this new one. Like he's good and he knows it.
That one, like, the one line. Well, there's two lines that I remember before I fell asleep. But the one where he says, "You and I have gotten to know each other over the years, and and I know that I could be doing anything else besides this."
Dude, you're like, whoa. Like and the way like the crowd responds too, it's like they're like, yeah, Jerry, you're a douche.
Yeah, there's I don't know. Andrew Schultz had a good perspective on comics who like if you're gonna have a viewpoint or if you're gonna have a joke on a viewpoint, you cannot waver from that at all.
Yeah,
whether it's saying, hey, it was a fucking joke, I'm not going to back down from it.
Right.
Or if that's your actual stance, cannot waver. No, there's no flimsy comedians that really are successful.
Right.
Which makes so much sense.
For sure it does. Well, and Schultz is a shining example of that.
Yeah.
He like embodies that. Actually, have you seen the videos he's been putting out during quarantine?
He's a little intense for me.
Okay. The ones that he's been putting out are they're like monologues basically. But he's got like it's like kind of like talk show style where he's got, or not talk show style, but like talking head style, where he's got like images are up on his right side, how on whatever those shows are called.
It'd be like the news.
Yeah.
So like the daily news.
Yeah, it's something like or like a Last Week Tonight sort of style.
Yeah.
It's probably closer, something like that. But he did one about how like the women's soccer team is now like suing to get out of the contract that like they signed, but like they were offered a different contract.
Okay.
And then they said like, no, we want to get, it was like a performance based contract or like a get paid salaries contract.
Oh.
And they're like suing to get out of the salaries contract, I think. I don't actually know for sure. I'm a dumbass. But like but it's like they're suing to get out of the contract that they like bargained for to begin with. And like they're the best team in the world. So you like feel bad for them in a way. It's like they took this contract like not knowing how much they could make if they ended up being the best team in the world.
Oh.
And now they're not getting paid what they're worth.
As a whole though? The whole team?
Yeah, like it's like that's like they decided the pay structure, I guess, like as a team. And then he goes hard about this, but then he talks about like the men's soccer team and how freaking horrible the men's soccer team is. And he's like, pay the men what they're worth. Nothing. They're horrible. They lost to Ghana. Like, I don't know. It's pretty good actually. Like it's kind of like I would say fresh perspective. And I don't know, man.
I'm trying to find the article.
I choose to not be offended. Like by choice, you know?
Yeah.
But also like when you do that, you forfeit like any level of I don't want to say skepticism, that's not like the right word. But still, it's like you forfeit the ability to like contradict yourself. Like if something actually is offensive and you're like, okay, that's kind of offensive. People are like, I thought you were the guy that never gets offended.
Yeah,
So
I mean, for with people like Schultz, I'm very familiar with even if it's not what their stance was before, if it works in the moment and they got the reaction that they see as momentum moving forward, then they'll hang on to that stance.
Right. So it's like they're molding themselves based on the feedback they're getting over time kind of thing. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, yeah, exactly. Over time, they end up believing that is how I feel about things.
Yeah, and then they become like more brazen and like definitely a little bit more defensive of their stance. Yeah. Even if it's not like something they believed before.
Yeah.
It's like now they've convinced themselves, like you said. That makes sense, for sure.
Yeah. Like Brendan Schaub, I was listening to old the Kid episodes, and you would hear him get offended about stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's the other way. And I think he's been molded by those around him.
Yeah, Theo and Brian.
Yeah. Not just that, but like guys like Schultz and DeStefano, who...
Dude, Chrissy D. I love that guy. What show was he on?
I could see him tricking me into having straight gay sex with him.
Dude, I feel like he could do that with anyone. Just the way he talks. He's like, glass of wine and an antihistamine, and I'll suck your dick. You're like, that's genius.
If I would have grown up with that guy, then like, I'm not gay, but me and
Chrissy D. I'm also Chrissy D. So there's like kind of that back and forth.
It's not gay if we have the same
guy. Yeah, it was the same guy. It's like jerking myself off.
Yeah, the chompers on that guy too. He's got
a mouth. Yeah. He's got a mouth on him. But dude, like when he calls himself Chrissy bitch hips, like dude, that's just so funny. He's so like eloquently self-deprecating.
Yeah.
But like because he's got the New York accent, you kind of just like, and what do I know? You know, because we get the Midwest like Minnesota accent, so we all sound like idiots to everyone else. But like. That accent to me just sounds like such a dope. Like you sound like the ogre, you know?
It's so funny. Yeah. People like, it's so...
But he's like a really smart guy.
That's the thing I was going to say. Like, it's weird when you hear from people with thick accents just lay on some fucking facts.
Yeah, like Anthony Fauci, the doctor.
Yeah.
He's like, you're like, how is the smartest doctor in America not able to pronounce his R's? What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait... This guy's the smartest? And he is, though. That's the thing.
He is. It's so weird. Meeting the people that I would meet, like people worth millions of dollars. So if people don't know, my whole dad side of the family lives in New York. So I've met like every spectrum of New York that there is. Hippies. But the funny thing is they could all have the exact same accent, but their lifestyle could be completely different. That's what's
Okay,
so
yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah,
like
well,
you could
but
meet
here it's different than that. Keep going.
Yeah, you could meet. Yeah, that's true. Meet like a vegan hippie who talks just like this. Oh my god! And this whole thing.
Right.
We need to nurture Mother Earth. Okay.
She always looks after us, so it's time that we look after her. Also, keep going. I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, that's a good point. It does that you can tell the accent varies because I think there's like southern states too where you see that where they kind of try to accent out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, there's like guys like Joe List who's like from Boston, but like doesn't talk like he's from Boston. You know, like, and he's from like the heart of Boston, is my understanding. But like he just sounds like a regular dude. But then there's like the further north you get in Minnesota, like the more you're like, oh, you've only spoken to 12 people ever, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, thanks for stopping by. Do you want some water? I also have Folgers. You're like, oh my God.
I remember the first person I met from Minnesota who didn't have an accent was a skater. And so I think,
but he's been trying.
Yeah, exactly. Like he had to have been making a conscious effort to. Anybody that works at Zoomies too, I noticed they try to not sound like they're, you know.
Yeah, well, it's like I feel like what happens is like they get the gauges and then it like changes the way their ears work, so they like hear their voice differently. So then, it's like almost like amplifies because their ears are bigger now.
That's a good. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that holds.
Yeah, I feel like it's ironclad.
That holds water.
It holds water. Sorry, I just screamed.
But these guys, they have California outfit, but Menards accent.
Yeah, for sure. Or they got like the floral shirt like that, you know, and the tattoos. And the like weird shaped like front bill hat where that's like this like you know, whatever, but then they're wearing like Lee jeans, you know, and you're like, well, you almost got there.
Yeah. But like they still go hunting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They go hunting or like they take the weekend off to like, you know, go scout, you know, for turkeys or whatever at their dad's land, you know, and they're like, yeah, I got to go out to the trailer this weekend and whatever. Don't you have a razor scooter tournament this weekend? What are you talking about?
Yeah, they go straight from a Bieber concert into building a deer stand with their stepdad.
Dude, this is gonna. I used to be very anti-Biebs.
Anti-Biebs?
Very anti-Biebs. But I was also like, there was a point in my life, I think, where I was like such a hipster that I was like offended by being called one. You know, it's like people would be like, you're such a hipster. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not a hipster. Hipsters are douchebags. And they're like, that's kind of what makes you a hipster, actually. Whatever. But during that period of time, I was like, fuck Jay Biebs. That guy sucks. He's not even a good singer. And then now that I've kind of like stepped out of that shell that I put myself in. Not only is he a great singer, that dude is a rocket. He's a smoke show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, you know, good for him. He aged well. You know what I mean? Like at 8 years old, people were like, he's the hottest 8-year-old in the world. And now people are like, he's the hottest 25-year-old in the world. You're like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
17 years of just remaining hot as hell. That
is crazy.
When I was in 7th grade, this actually happened. This girl, it was like the second day of school. I didn't know anyone, really. So what happened was like our junior highs mixed all the elementary schools, you know?
Okay.
There's a shit ton of elementary schools in like Maple Grove area. And so half of the elementary schools dumped their kids into one junior high. And then the other half dumped their kids into the other junior high.
Oh, okay.
And then what would happen is like, based on where their elementary school was, half of the kids from your junior high would go to a different high school than you.
Oh,
so it was like you were with these people for like 3 years, and then they went to like Osseo or Maple Grove, and then half the kids from Osseo Junior went to Maple Grove. So it was so dumb. It was just like, why would you not just send the kids who go to Osseo Senior to Osseo Junior?
Well, they didn't want to, you know, completely damn those kids to a life of crime by sending them all to Osseo.
Or Maple Grove, honestly. Maple Grove's kind of a secretive dump in a way. Second day of school, this girl like comes walking up the hallway, and I'd recognize her from my biology class, right? And she's got a girl that I've never seen with her walks up to me in the hallway. He goes, "Hey," and I was like, "What's up?" And then the girl she was with was like, "Oh my God, he is so hot." And that was the first moment of my life where I was like, "Chicks, dude." And then nothing ever came of that, ever. In fact, like anytime I tried to talk to a girl at that age, I was just weird. I was creepy, and I was like, And then like once I got like texting, then I was even weirder. It was just like I went through that stage of just being like too horny for my own good. You know what I mean?
I'm glad that I didn't have texting.
Yeah.
I did have MSN Messenger, which I was
hell yeah.
a
Like,
fiend on
is that like AOL basically?
It's basically AOL. It's a lot like Facebook Messenger. But you would just have your list of peeps in there.
Yeah, and
so
they all had names
like
Dune Buggy 69 or whatever.
I was Puff_Daddy 24. I was killing it.
Mine was Slapshot Petra.
That's awesome, dude.
Okay. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah.
So I've always had a gigantic head.
Yeah.
Like I grew into my head. My head has just always been enormous, which was very much like Jonathan Taylor Thomas when he was a kid. And we had very similar. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Tool Time?
Yeah.
Okay. Or what is it called? Home Improvement?
Yeah, it's Home Improvement.
Yeah.
That's actually the second time you've done that in the last week. You called it Tool Time last week, and then you were like, wait, Home Improvement.
I do it all the time. But
well, it's the show inside the show is Tool
right,
Time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to. Yeah, I get it. Makes sense.
So, we were like around the same age, like when it came into like syndication and all that stuff. So, and our hairstyle was very similar. So I became popular amongst the ladies very quickly because I looked like Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Because you were JTT.
So, one time I'm in like 5th or 6th grade. I'm walking by the restrooms and I hear, okay, quick, get in here. And I see this girl walk in there and then I hear another girl go, okay, Chris Duke fan club begins now. But again, the funny thing, no positives, no benefits that I
right
ever
at
see.
all. Yeah, that's it sucked because it was like you wanted. My problem was like I was not confident enough. Still am not confident enough. Like if even when Caitlin is like, "You look so cute," I'm like, "Shut up, walk away." You know, I'm like what? But then like I also didn't know how to. I didn't have enough time with girls, you know?
Right.
It's like I grew up in a household where like my parents were like, we don't try. My parents were Bobby Boucher's mom, you know? It's like little girls are the devil. Stay away from them. Not, I guess, exactly that. But, you know, so it's like I was like afraid to talk to girls. And I also didn't know how to talk to girls. So when I did get to talk to girls, I either completely blew it or like, because like I thought like all the guys that were good with girls like had this special way of talking to them. So I would like try to do what I thought they did.
Yeah.
But like turns out it's like just talk normal and they'll get to decide whether or not you're a piece of shit or not, you know? It's like you don't get to tell them or I don't know. I'm an idiot. Dude, why am I dwelling on this?
No. I'm glad you went down that rabbit hole because that reminded me I have never told this story on any podcast.
Hey, all right.
I'm very excited.
Super fresh.
So, I was obviously an emo boy for the most part.
Yeah.
I prepped up a little bit junior and senior year, but before
so
that,
you were like a Blink. When it started, you were.
I was like wristband, Sum 41.
Yeah, dude.
Dyed my hair black.
And then you became like Simple Plan and Blink 182 fan.
Yeah. Well, never Simple Plan, but I almost said Simper Plan. But anyways,
dude, that would be so funny right now because of the whole simp movement. If you did Simper Plan.
Simper Plan.
Oh no, I'm thinking like literally you do like an album cover of the guys from Simple Plan, but you just like find a bunch of simps and you just like put them in there. I'm an idiot. Keep going.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, the only girlfriend that I had was this super gothic chick.
Hell yeah.
And one time, her and I and this other couple are at the library because there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And you know, making outs is happening. But then
in the library?
In the library.
Holy cow.
Yeah, this was a very liberal ruled the library.
Oh,
Whatever.
Okay, I was like a lot of like donkey flags in there.
No,
or-
there's just the
Yep.
kid that was
Yeah.
in charge of watching over. Didn't give a shit.
A kid watched your library?
Yeah.
My God, where did you grow up? Keep going.
So we're making out. She pulls my hand down to her Janko jeans,
Whoa.
right? And I had never done that before. It's over the pants stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I go like this, right? I fingers pointed, like, you know, I'm
At
like
it?
a sea lion, right? Flipper style. So
Yeah,
here's
okay.
what happens. So I go in the crevice with the top of my hand and just chainsawed back and forth, right?
It actually kind of fits with the jeans though, because it was like zipper style, you know?
It worked perfectly. It worked fantastically. And so I told my friend afterwards, because they had gone off a section of their own. And he was like, "What, you got to?" I was like, "Yeah, dude." She like was like shaking and stuff. He was like, "Oh, that's awesome. What'd you do?" And so I go, well, I went like this. So he goes back to his girlfriend and we just hear, "Oh my God." He started walking towards her, making the motion
What?
of the fucking handsaw thing.
That's so beautifully childhood.
I know, isn't that
That's
awesome?
hilarious, but also, I mean, you can. That's so. The irony of like her having zippers all over her pants and then you zippering her
Yeah.
vagine
Right.
is pretty funny.
Yeah,
I guess it's not irony; it's like coincidence. But
yeah.
you know,
But yeah, that whole like I couldn't believe that he started making the motion
good for you though.
before he went in
Nice.
for it.
Dude.
So
Nice.
funny.
That's as far as like gambling goes and it paying off. Hell yeah, dog. I've had some like pretty brutal hookups in my life, like horrible ones, you know, but none worse than the one I think I've done on stage probably 1,000 times.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
the bloody
yeah, the
nose
bloody
and everything.
nose
It's
one.
just,
I had a friend who we called the dentist because
oh, you called him the dentist?
We called him the
okay.
dentist.
I was like, okay, go ahead.
because this girl had made out with him at a party and she said that he would lick her teeth. He wasn't quite sure how the French kissing worked.
Okay, so he's just kind of like trying to get some leftovers, or
Yeah.
good for him.
On the bilateral L34 or whatever the fuck.
Little floss in action. That was the original floss.
He
right
just
there.
licked all over the teeth, apparently.
It actually kind of sounds sexy though. If you're just like, ooh,
L-
let me get those canines, dude. Nice and wet. So dumb. Keep
Very
moving.
weird. I one time clanked teeth because I was
Ah.
new to
Owie.
the open mouth
Mm-hmm.
making out, and I cacawed.
That's like fingernails on a chalkboard almost. I feel
Yeah.
like it's like that's a you know, and it's not the noise for me. It's like the how you feel afterwards in your skin for some reason. You know, it just doesn't go away for like 10 minutes.
It's
That
such an
for sure is the same
unnatural
thing.
sound because
Yeah.
it reverberates through your. It's like grinding your teeth feels.
It doesn't.
awful.
Yeah, look, it doesn't make that noise in your head when you grind or when you click your own teeth because like it's an external tooth.
Yeah.
like reverb. So it's like your mouth is that sound only happens if like something goes horribly wrong. You know,
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly
Ow.
right.
and it doesn't feel that good either.
No.
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, and it's scary.
Yeah,
because you're like, oh,
for sure.
I've clearly done something wrong.
Yeah. Oh, am I eating her now? Idiot.
I remember because it was like somebody's birthday party was ending, and someone was like, "My dad's gonna." Oh, that's what it was. The kid that I was there with, his dad was gonna be there in like 15 minutes,
Okay.
and this girl, we were like, kind of like,
You're like
"Eh."
making out at parties and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
How old were you? 8th grade? Did you say?
No, this was 5th grade.
5th grade?
I was making out since I was like 8 years old. Super weird.
It's not that weird, I guess. I mean,
It's
it's unnatural. Okay, weird.
Can you imagine
No,
those two?
No,
Never.
But also, exposure is different for everybody. You know,
Right.
so it's like it was normal for you at the time,
Yeah.
because other people around you were doing it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
It's like so it didn't feel weird in the moment, so it can't be weird now.
Yeah.
It's like you could call it unnatural or like not.
Premature.
Yeah, there you go. But like at the time, it was like you were just kind of going with the flow of what everybody else was doing.
I think we all like.
Plus, you can't kink shame, man. You like making out with 8-year-olds. That's awesome. Good for you.
God damn it! That was every single birthday party. Was where's the window of time where there won't be any adults present so that all of the kids can make out?
Wow.
It's pretty strange for
Dude,
sure.
in 7th grade, I went to like the attractive girl's birthday party. I get invited because my girlfriend at the time was like best friends with her. It was like a day before the party. I was like in gym class getting titty twisters until my nipples bled, just getting picked on, you know?
Yeah.
And the girl comes up to me, she's like, hey, so do you want to come to my birthday party? And I was like, I don't, sure. Are we dating now? Like, is that how this works? Because, like, you're hotter than my girlfriend right now. So, like, I would totally. Anyway. So I went to her party. We literally, like, played on the jungle gym. That was, like, the most. That's awesome. I did that, like, with girls. That was, like, I later on, like, replayed that in my head at bedtime, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Not literally, but, you know?
Yeah.
Like that was.
That connection where you feel like, yeah, I got
I was
you.
like, oh man, I was flirting today. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
is that look at that slide, man. I bet you want me to, it's pretty dangerous. You want me to go down there with you? Or? And they were all like, no. I was like, okay, I'm going to go get some soda. And they're like, you call it soda? And I was like, bye. I'm leaving.
Dude, in 7th grade, I was in middle school with these twins. These twin girls,
and
there was a set of twin boys in the
What?
8th grade. So when they got to middle school, these two girls were like, obviously we have to date. So they were dating, and I remember asking one time, is there a difference in the penis department? And they were very matter of fact, like, yeah, well, Tyler's is longer, but Tyson's is thicker. And I was like, what?
Their names are Tyler and Tyson.
Tyler and Tyson.
Oh, that's so white. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's the kind of like weird, hypersexual. Like if we hadn't moved out of that town in Oregon, shout out to St. Helens, there were so many high school pregnancies. Like
Really?
9 of my friends.
What?
Yeah. That I would have been in
How
my
did that?
graduation
Like, how does that happen? It's like there's like that pocket of. How does that happen?
I don't know, man.
It's like did a porn truck just like crash one day and all the nudie mags just like spilled out on the highway and all the kids got them early, or like what happened?
Well, to an extent, I mean, at least for like my block, that kind of is what happened. Somebody randomly found just an erroneous amount of nudie mags, and we made a fort around it.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
That story on.
I had a girl when we moved here when I was in 9th grade.
Okay.
She said she came up to me and like was a little annoyed looking, and she goes, "Do you wipe your penis after you pee?" And then you could tell she was asking
Because like
for like an aha moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, of course. She goes, oh, really? Oh, all right. Her boyfriend later was like, dude, thank you. She said she refused to give me a blowjob because boys' penises are dirty. So I didn't assist.
Yeah,
had
dude,
no idea.
that's such a wingman move, and you didn't even know it. Good on ya.
Cacao.
God, you're just handing out outside the pants, zipper moves and fucking BJs out of. You were, holy cow, led the league in assists back in the day.
Yeah, I think the environment that I grew up in, that kind of careless
Translated.
Yeah,
because
really it was just carelessness. Like kids were very like to be that hypersexual. You're forgetting so many other things in childhood. Like if think about that, like every birthday party, okay, when is Tina's mom gonna go so that we can all start making out?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, yeah, I guess.
So then, because when I came here, everybody was like, you have to fill your day with shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also like when, I don't know, I would say because you're at that age, like your ability to like limit yourself to like one cookie is impossible. You know, it's like to be making out.
Yeah.
It's like that's peak. You know, like you're on the verge of like reproductive activity. You know,
Yeah.
and like at that age, exploration is like the key to any young boy's heart. I've never like none of this was a thing for me. Like freshman year was the first time I ever made out with a girl.
Okay.
And you know, I got really lucky with that one because she's to this day she's very cool.
Oh, okay.
But like we're cool now, obviously. You know,
I get
but
what you
like, but it was like it was like the perfect way to learn how to make out because like she may have done it before, I don't remember, but it was like it was comfortable, it wasn't weird, and then like I really liked it obviously because I was like, holy shit, you can do this. But it was like I didn't have like a traumatic opener, you know, like I didn't have like my first experience was like horrifying where you're like, well, I'm never doing that again. That was but I never had like I didn't.
I wonder why, like what part of that is the mating ritual for humans? You know what I mean? Because like in the animal kingdom, they don't really have foreplay. They have displays which say
maybe that is the foreplay. That's the display for us. You know, it's like in the animal kingdom, a bird's going to do its call, right?
Yeah.
And then when the female bird comes over, then he does his like, we should fuck.
Yeah,
and then she's like, I don't know. And he's like, come on, let's fuck. I'm really good at dancing. Look at these feathers. And then she's like, all right. And then they do it.
But I mean, do you think that like young animals do like the practicing
that's what you're
aspect?
saying. I thought you were saying like, because like the making out is the prelude to the intercourse. You know what I mean? It's like if you suck at kissing, a girl's going to be like probably a little more like tepid about, you know, getting into the
copulating.
I love that word. That was awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. For what do I know? I'm not a biologist. I'm also an idiot. So,
but I want that makes me wonder like if
it'd be so funny though. If there's just like a bunch of young lions like practicing.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like, do they look like as bad at it, or is it so built?
And then there's like the
DNA?
younger ones, and there's like the teenage ones are like fucking with the younger ones,
Yeah.
and they're like, "This is how you sneak up on a girl lion." And then like one of them tries it, and then the girl's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "This is what Timmy told me to do." Well, Timmy's a liar. And then Timmy's snickering with all his buddies, like, "Dude, I can't believe we told him to put his tail like in front of his cock."
Timmy takes his mask off. He was a hyena the whole time. He's just in it for the giggles.
Oh, that was stupid, man. That
Goddamn.
was really funny.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was very funny, but
But I wonder, like, do you think like Neanderthals were making out?
No.
Right?
But they could have had their own version of making out. You know, it's like maybe it's evolved. It's like maybe for them it was like back scratches because they had so much fucking hair. So it's just like, you know, that was the way you like showed affection to something. Because like we still do that today and it still feels good. So maybe that's why we've evolved to like love getting our back scratched so much. Is like back in the day that was a way of showing love for somebody too. I'm sure.
Know, I actually did recently learn that the reason why it's common for females to have more partners, and this is in any species, to have more partners than males, is because the more partners you have, the less likely that male is to eat your young. Because it doesn't know.
Oh, I've heard that before.
That whole thing.
Yeah, that's a dolphin thing. Dolphins do that for sure, I'm pretty sure. Like aggressively. Bears too, maybe. I think dolphins are more
Bears
common,
will
though.
eat. That's why the mom gets the fuck out of there right away. Because male bears will eat. They don't give a fuck.
Right. But yeah, I think dolphins.
Lions for sure.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident dolphins do that.
The dolphins eat their babies?
No, that they kill them. Because they, you know what I'm saying? Because they think it's somebody else's. So like dolphins will do it with everyone. And then they're like, I mean, hey, this could be your baby, Gerald, or it could be Harold's baby. Who knows? Also, every dolphin is named after a character from Hey Arnold.
Oh, man.
I'm dumb.
Plus, dolphins are very.
Bobby Reed. God, I love that show so much.
Yeah, he's pretty. You know what's funny is how I never think of racism outside of like the Caucasian realm, but just how deep it runs, and like
in just whites for other or
well, that's what I'm saying is
non-whites.
Like,
you mean
when I never think about like how Koreans feel towards like people from the Philippines or like how they feel. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
And it's so weird to me to think that because it's so stereotypical for if racism is happening, a white guy's behind it.
Yeah.
That it's hard for me to wrap my head around it. And so it always seems like a joke.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like not. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain. It's like, it's so prevalent everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like what we're used to here is like the thumb that was like the white people, you know, that was just like everyone else get under here, you know, for like 200 to 500 years still going on right now, you know.
Native Americans were super racist towards other tribes. Like if you looked like you were from another tribe.
Yeah, they killed the shit out of everyone. Yeah. There's that, I don't know, Rogan was reading some book, he was talking about it, and I like read some stuff online about it. It was like they like mastered horses, this particular tribe.
Okay.
And they bred horses. And then they had like thousands of horses in their like at their leisure, essentially. And so they would just like pillage everyone because they had horses. And all these other tribes did not. So they would just like run into another tribe's like space, basically, and just burn that bitch to the ground. Dude. And then run home. And that's what they did. And they would take the women and they would take the children and they would take their weapons. And like this particular tribe like gave like the soldiers, I guess, of like the infantry from back in the settling days of the United States, they gave them like hell. Like this tribe like would kidnap bunch of white ladies, and we're just like, they're ours now, just so you know. And the white guys were like, well, what? And they're like, no, yeah, I mean, you can try to take them, but we have horses. And they're like, well, we have horses too. And they're like, but our horses are cooler.
Hey guys, Chris with Duck Duck Grey Duke here. Excited to talk about Clean Cause Sparkling Yerba Mate. These energy drinks, they're super delicious. And the reason why we're excited about them is because they're a company that gives back 50% of their profits to support individuals in recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. Sober Living Scholarships is a big way that they do that. They allocate those scholarships to individuals across the country where the drinks are purchased, and has provided over 1,200 scholarships with the value of more than $600,000 to date. That is so awesome. So, I mean, one of the things that prevented people from staying in treatment for as long as they could, at least for the facility that I was at, was that they ran out of money. Their insurance would cut them off. They'd only get 7 days, and they would have to leave. Companies like this that are out there avidly promoting sober living and willing to help on the financial end of things is pretty huge. And on top of that, it's freaking delicious. I love it. I had never even tried yerba mate. I had no idea what it was. But they have a 0-calorie version as well, because I'm not a huge sugar guy. This orange ginger that I'm drinking right now is freaking delicious. The cherry lime one was freaking awesome. And for our podcast listeners, you can go to cleancause.com and use the promo code TNSAA. That's the acronym for the Not So Anonymous Alcoholic. Obviously, something that we're super passionate about is staying sober. That means a lot to our family. And we hope that you guys can get behind that too, because these guys are doing really, really great work. And we're just so freaking excited about that. Thank you, and enjoy the show. As opposed to leaving him outside.
Yeah, sorry. You're not allowed in. Dad's not up here.
Well, good. I'm glad he interrupted. Shit was about to get misogynistic. Now, let's get back to...
Why stop it, though, man? Speak the truth, Chris. It's not the truth.
I have noticed within you, I would say, like, obviously before I pulled an Amy Winehouse, But
Why did you? Okay, keep going.
I noticed that like you've been looking for what is like your hard stance area, like to
Oh,
go
yeah.
back to that whole thing that we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
And when we were over at your house, you guys have the Declaration of Independence in a frame.
Yeah.
I did not know that you were a patriotic individual.
Well, it's Caitlin's. I've always been a patriot, like big time. Love America, big time. Growing up, I was a huge history buff, so like I loved not only like learning about how America came to be, but also like how America protected its way of life, kind of thing.
Okay.
And so like growing up, I would say that I leaned like pretty hard conservative, as far as as much as an 8th grader can. You know, it's like you don't understand economic policy or like real political, but it was like I love America, you know? And then Caitlin is like the most American person I've ever met, right? And she's also a staunch liberal, which is like really refreshing because I feel like there's a lot of people on the left that like have this weird, like they can't be patriotic because the country isn't like doing what they think is right now. So it's like kind of to say they're a patriot is also like in a way kind of like going against what they believe or they think it is.
Right.
It's like they're not mutually exclusive, you know? It's like you can be a patriot. And so having been with her has not only like been, you know, good for that kind of dichotomy of belief systems, but also like I'm more of a patriot now than I've ever been.
See, and that's awesome. I think because people associate nationalism
with bad shit.
Right. That
well, it can tumble really quickly into horrifying, you know, but go ahead. You were saying something.
Well, I was just going to say like I think because the idea like with liberalism, like really intense left, is that by not saying proud anything, you're just proud human. That's like the stereotypical stance, right?
It's kind of like a humanist, like globalist sort of style thing. It's like love without borders,
exactly,
you know, all that, which I understand. Like, and I'm not anti other people of the world, you know? It's just like I was born in a country that afforded my parents opportunities that were afforded to their parents, that were afforded to their, you know what I mean? Like it goes back. It's like, and those opportunities are not something to like be ashamed of, you know? It's like, I would say that like, did I have a privileged existence when I was a kid? And do I still kind of have a coddled existence now? It's like, absolutely I do. But that doesn't take away from the fact that like a lot of what's like existed in my life up until now and still does today comes from like the freedoms that were written on a piece of paper 200 fucking years ago, which is incredible, you know? It's like I feel like we get so worried about like disappointing the masses by you know, by like saying I'm a patriot, and I also think like people can have their own opinions, but like I don't know, go ahead.
It's weird that you can be stoked to be from a state, right? When
that's always been weird to me.
Just your state,
yeah,
nobody cares,
right?
It's rad, bumper stickers,
yeah,
keep Portland weird, like all that shit. But when you take it one step further and say, not only do I love the state that I live in, but I think all the other states are pretty rad too.
Yeah.
Like taking it that one step further for some reason it seems like you're saying, well, what's wrong with Mexico? What's wrong with Canada?
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, it's easier to be like adversarial because like especially with like things with like the wall, you know, it's like, that's not only like a verbal, but like a true like physical representation of us being like, we don't want fucking people to come here. Yeah. All right, man. But
those Mongolians are barbarians. To be fair.
It's like, if you think about like the way things worked in the past, you know, it's like, and this is not me going pro wall on you. Yeah, I'm not leaning that far in. I don't think it's a horrible idea to like look at immigration reform and like try to find a way to like get people who are trying to immigrate responsibly
Yeah.
into the United States a faster track to get citizenship. That's the whole problem. The problem isn't like all these people are sneaking over. It's
Yeah.
like, well, they have to, because if they don't sneak over, it takes 10 fucking years to become a citizen.
Isn't it ironic that people who are super patriotic, like on the extreme end, right?
Yeah.
So like America's the best, but then the second that anybody else wants to have what that
they're like,
beautiful
no.
thing, it's like
You don't
no,
get this.
you don't get how it works.
Yeah, this is my America.
Born here, die here.
Right. But, all that to say, like, I don't know a lot of things anyway. I'm not
You
like a
seem
super-
like you're similar to our friend April in the way that it's not necessarily that you have that viewpoint, but you understand the viewpoint.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between like having that stance and being willing to die on that hill and saying, no, I get why they think that. I understand the incentive behind it.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Part of it is like, I don't know exactly what I believe anyway. It's
Yeah.
like some days I feel a certain way and then other days I feel another way. And I think part of that is like, my financial situation is changing. My, family situation is changing. It's like my life is changing. And so like, as my life changes, things about my belief system are also going to change.
Yeah.
I think that's natural, but like I used to be like one of those guys that would just argue to the fucking bones about certain things and had really hard stances. And I realized like it turned people off,
Yeah.
Like it doesn't become
Well,
easier.
just you in general turn people off.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. And so like, why add to the pile? It's like I have all these other crappy things, but like when it comes to like, especially, politics or whatever, is like it being like hard about something, like hard, super hard set on your beliefs or whatever is fine. But like being unwilling to hear people
Yeah.
makes you not only not fun to talk to, but it also like you get into the echo chamber, and then that's where you actually you get dumber. And that's what I've noticed is like the more you box yourself in away from any opposing viewpoint, the less you get challenged by anyone. And so like any time that you're vulnerable to being challenged, that's when you like start the stone throwing and like getting mad and shutting down instead of actually discussing anything worthwhile. So it's like I don't know.
April and I were talking about this, like when it comes to COVID stuff, which, hey, we went fucking almost an hour without talking about the coronavirus,
Did we really?
which is incredible. I feel like every podcast starts with, so anyways, coronavirus.
Dude, I was like, I had a mask today, and then I coughed, and then I accidentally inhaled too hard, and the mask went in my body, and then I just shit it out this morning. It was crazy.
But we were talking about how in 2016, like liberal or Democratic, whatever, we thought it was so obvious that you shouldn't vote for that person that we thought it was okay to absolutely shit on those people and basically bully them into voting for Hillary, which looking back is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So those people, we created an environment where those people say, okay, we know how liberals are going to react if we do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if they react that way, that means we're doing the right thing and it'll fuel that thing even more. So when you have the shit that's happening now with the coronavirus and, people bringing guns to congressmen and
Which is like
fucking
it's
crazy
like,
shit,
dude,
it's because they feel that if the hate is coming, we were right the first time and we got Trump into office, we're going to be right on this thing. We just have to be militant about it.
Well, that could absolutely be it. I also think like another way to look at it could be like the people, I should say, I don't like using these people, but the people that have been
Can you put a pin in that?
for Blurp.
Oh,
Oh, that's fitting.
Hello.
hey, Alex and I are recording.
Hi, Kim.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
I'm great because I get to leave work early.
You got an 11-year-old today. How does that feel?
Oh, I'm so old.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant how
I noticed,
exciting is it
like-
that he's an 11-year-old?
I don't want him to be 11. I want him to be 5.
But he's such
He
a
can't get
bright,
older.
young, man, and
He is
just
He's really smart.
he's
he
kind
is
of
crazy smart.
he's kind of like painfully smart, actually. Where like he can hold a conversation, and I'm like, I'm teetering here. What's going on?
Sometimes I can feel that he's dumbing down a conversation for me.
Yeah.
When he
Okay,
looks
so-
at homework stuff, like he can tell that I get kind of embarrassed. I almost went full on Neanderthal. He tells sometime he can sense that like I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'll be like, it's okay. Mom will be home in like a half an hour.
Oh.
And so
well.
he'll wait for Kim Duke to be home.
So you get to leave work early. That's exciting. Is it because it's his birthday, or were they just like, get
Well,
the fuck out of here?
My coworkers are so nice. I'm like, oh, it's Landon's birthday. And she goes, why did you leave at 3 o'clock? I'm like, well, because I didn't work last week. So
they let
I'm
you
like,
go
I don't
home.
want to use all my PTO.
Right.
Can I ask you a question, Mama Bear?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh God, what?
What is the situation look like on your end? Like,
Is this gonna be on podcast? Because I don't want it out there. I can't talk about it legally.
oh, all right. Well, how about vaguely? Are you seeing if you were to have the knowledge that cases seem to be increasing, would
That's public knowledge. They're talking about Minnesota's going to peak in June. That's what I just watched Wall's thing. He's going to let that thing expire.
But what is the facility that you work at?
Wait. What did Governor Walz say?
I legally cannot talk about that, Chris. Like, I will lose.
Damn
my
it!
job.
All right.
Chris, quit trying to pull the curtain back. You big jerk. Hey, Kim, though,
But what I can say is I watched Wall's.
What did Timmy
live
Dubs say?
thing. He, so he's going to let the stay-at-home order expire on Sunday at 11:59.
What?
Now they're gonna allow bars, restaurants, and salons open June 1st. With obviously they need to have some safety measures, and we can have groups up to 10 people.
Holy shit!
Oh, that's awesome,
dude. Are we about to be the podcast that fucking breaks the news? Okay, that's so dumb.
You better edit that tonight, then, Chris.
Dude, that's wild though. Holy shit. Also, I got to say this. We were kind of just talking politics, Kim. I would love to get your input on this, too. I don't know how I lean. I'm pretty moderate. But, like, I'm kind of a fan of this whole, like, conservative national, or, like, federal government and liberal state government. Because Tim Walz is crushing it right now.
I know, but people hate him, and I'm like, I can't imagine being a governor right now.
I mean, he's killing it. He's straight up killing it. And he's actually like reaching over the aisle to be like, hey, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Can we work together on this? And most of them were like, no, there's a D in front of your name. And he's like, but seriously, people are dying. So what do you think? I don't know. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, like, I mean, if he ran for president in the fall, I would vote for that dude. Like I'm very pro Tim Walz.
God, wouldn't
I'm
that be
just
awesome?
against all these old creepy dudes. Why
But
do we
I
have
also
to keep
feel like
having old creepy dudes running for
He's
president?
moderate enough that like I feel like he's like pragmatic in a way. It's like like with the reopening, he like gets it. All right.
Well, he said it. I get it. I can't keep people at home. Like he talked about people's mental health and kids need to play. And he's like,
Dubs.
He gets
and he was talking about that. He's like, I get this. This has been hard on people. And he's like, but I'm also, trying to protect people. And, it's hard. I can't imagine you're trying to protect your state. You don't want people to get sick, but at the same time, people are complaining about their mental health. And I get it. I see people who
for sure
their mental health is declining. My own. And I'm pretty stable mentally, but
I am not. And this has been the fact that I was able to golf, I think is truly like the saving grace.
You golfed?
I golf. I've golfed this year 10 times.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they opened courses.
Oh shit.
Because it's easy to social distance with golf.
we want people to be healthy mentally.
Oh, you're breaking up, Mama.
No.
Oh, we're on the car now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And when I tell people, like, okay, what are your coping skills? Well, I can't use any of my coping skills because I have to isolate. And what do we tell people who are depressed? Do not isolate yourself.
Yep.
And now we're forcing people to isolate themselves.
Right.
So I see all sides of it because working in mental health, you're seeing people. My coping skill is being around my friends and family. I can't be around them right now.
Yeah.
I can't go visit my, and like talking to people who have older parents. Like one of my coworkers has a dad who's older and lives in Northern California, where it's not a big area, where it's not a lot of COVID there, but what if you were to get it and she didn't get to see him this last year? So then there's people saying, I might not even get to see my parents for the last time because they might get it, but I can't also go visit them because we're not allowed to go visit people.
Oh. Did you listen to Michael Yo on Joe Rogan?
No, but I
had to turn it off. It's so depressing.
Yeah, that's kind of like the way I saw the video that Michael posted where like afterwards where
So
he was
Michael Yo was like one of the first COVID cases. Well, he was the first in the hospital that he went to in New York. And then it was like one of the biggest hospitals to get cases. So he was seeing people come in and out, and he was like he's a very healthy dude. And this absolutely floored him.
Yeah.
They were about to intubate him for a vent, and the doctor made a call and said, no, I think his body will shut down if we do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which they were seeing. So this poor guy was watching people die and not be able to make that last phone call, not be able to even get FaceTime to see these people.
Horrifying.
So it's fucking miserable.
And you know me, like, my relationship with my dad isn't it's better. Like, but when I saw him at my brother's house, like, the amount of joy I felt inside was crazy. Like, I'm oh my gosh, this, like, happiness I feel just to see him. Like, I can't hug him, but oh my gosh, it's so good because it's like my dad's older. He's got, who knows what he's got, and it's like he even says it himself. If he gets it, he's gonna die from it. So just seeing him, like, oh my gosh, I get to see my dad. Like, I don't usually get excited about that, and I felt this weird joy.
He'll die, but his knee will live on.
He'll die, but I will get his money. So I mean, win-win.
His bionic knee, though, will still stomp around the house.
Yes. So I wonder if I can get his knee taken out so I can keep that on the wall. I'm going to ask him if he can put in his will that I get his knee.
That would be awesome.
I'm going to ask him. I bet he'd do it just for fun.
You know what we should do for your mom's sake is get...
did you get it? Just for fun's knees.
Oh, jeez. Wow. We should get his Colt 45 molded.
And 2 zigzags? Okay, sorry.
Yeah. We should get that Desert Eagle molded so that when he's gone to the great beyond, your mom can still...
Gross. Gross.
Dude, can you imagine melting down a gun to his...
Yeah.
Ish. You guys are disgusting.
I'm talking about home, the home molding kits so you can make a dildo that looks like...
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
You melting down.
Well, you said his Colt 45, like the gun.
No, not using his Colt 45 to make the mold.
Oh, you were talking about...
I was calling his massive wiener.
Dude, I thought he had a Colt 45.
He probably does.
And I was like, dude, melting a gun down and turning it into... That's it. Like, that's the most American thing ever. I am so pro Second Amendment, I put my guns inside me.
Oh, my God.
That's beautiful.
You can make a bit about that.
I think it is.
I'm so Second Amendment. I would, for my girlfriend, I want to melt my gun down into a dildo so my gun can be inside her.
That's...
You guys are fucking gross. All right, see you soon. Bye.
All right, love you. Bye. Not just right to bear arms, but right to harbor arms. That's basically.
Oh, it's like bear arms, but it's actually spelled Bare.
Yeah.
You know? Right to bear arms. I'm putting this bear arm inside my...
Oh, dude, that could be a dildo company
Bear
where
arms.
we take weapons.
That's what I was saying,
melt them
dude.
down.
I feel like
that's a $1 million idea, dude. Joe Rogan would absolutely endorse it. Well, that worked out perfectly for like a check-in because we
got some really awesome news.
She allegedly works in the medical field, so
can't actually say one way or another, but it's our understanding.
Yeah.
But I forgot. So every Wednesday I call my grandparents, FaceTime them.
Oh shit! I gotta call my grandma. Sorry.
That's all right. And we always call them at 7. And so I was like, oh, balls. Like when she called and then she mentioned, I was like, oh, shit. So I texted my grandma and just said, hey, can we call you a little bit later? And then she just said, is tomorrow better? I'm like, tomorrow works too. You're the shit, Grandma. You're awesome.
Fantasmatic.
Ooh, that was a taco. That's a little TJ's burp right
there. TJ burp.
A little spicy. But, well, how long are we making these episodes?
I was thinking like an hour. seems good, right?
Dude, yeah. I would rather it be around an hour than us like creep into the 2-3 hour territory because then nobody's gonna fucking listen.
Well, there was no gaps in there. This is exactly why I wanted to do this.
Yeah, so we just talk.
Yeah.
We're good at that.
Yeah. And it lends into each other, like the way that we talk. Always, I said this before, like there's some type of epiphany that comes from the way that you say something makes me do math in my head to spit something out. You know what I mean? Like solving equations.
Yeah. Well, we're like solving for X and like it just falls into place.
Yeah. Like I've never said copulate in an actual sentence before.
But you just use it. That was so well done. Hey, so I was thinking, so you've done a lot of the work for this. You guys, viewers know Chris has other podcasts, Duck Duck Grey Duke, and well, do you want me to plug those?
Yeah.
And the Not So Anonymous Alcoholic. Both very good. You should tune in and watch them. They're excellent. They're on YouTube here on the Duck Duck Grey Duke channel, but they're also on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. So if you can subscribe to both of those and listen, viewership is nice. Now, all that said, Chris does a lot of work for this stuff, so I was like brainstorming things that we could do to like end the show because it's some of my favorite things. Like, you know, on a lot of podcasts they have like their
send-off.
This is how we So I was thinking for our send off, we can include the name.
Okay.
Right? Where like I'll be like, hey man, did you have a good time today? And
Dude,
then,
absolutely.
yeah, right. But like it could be like, hey man, did you have a good time today? And you'd be like, why? Did you have a good time today? And then we could both be like, dude, absolutely.
Or it could be like, you do this again next week?
Yeah,
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we want to do that? Do we want to? Did you have a good time today, or do you want to do the like?
We try that one. So what do we do?
Well, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like I think it would be nice for both of us to say it at the same time.
Oh,
but maybe not. I don't know. What do you think?
So practice run. So I'm like, do you have a good time today?
Yeah. Did you have a good time?
Dude, absolutely. Like that. That was good. The cadence was there and everything.
Yeah. But I also like your idea too. The like
same time. Same time next week.
Dude, absolutely.
And then just switch off whoever says it.
Yeah.
That week.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I think I was so close to saying dude, absolutely. Real.
That's the funny thing. When I was telling my brother that I was going to do this and I told him the name, he laughed. He was like, I get it. And because I was starting to say, he goes, no, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, when I told, who was I telling? I think I golfed with a couple buddies yesterday and I told them that we were doing this today and the name. And one of them was like, dude, you say that all the time. I was like, I know. It's like my favorite one.
I do too. Fucking constantly.
Yeah. This is like, that's why when you I literally was like prancing around the house. Like, we have a podcast that's going to be a hit. Yeah. I'm fucking jacked, man.
I'll get the computer in here. We're going to do some fun facts about the state that we're from. I think sports too, because I don't know dick about sports.
Hell yeah.
And you know a lot about sports.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be fun to dive into that shit.
All right. Yeah, I'll come up. I'll bring sports fact next week, and you can bring real life applicable fact because that's how I am. I'm just a
have you been watching Chinese baseball?
Korean baseball.
Korean baseball.
But
I thought China had opened up their league.
Oh, maybe they did, but we don't. I'm not pro China.
Well, makes sense.
Pro China.
People forget that they're
pro Korea,
like a communist country, and that people get kidnapped. And
oh yeah, and the government's like,
people. But when people see, this is so stupid, but it's true. When people see old Chinese couples, their first thought is, oh, it's like seeing a puppy.
It kind of is, dude. That's so funny. Oh, it's horrible, but very funny.
Right, but
it's accurate,
but then you forget that they're like
humans.
We escaped a communist country.
Yeah. They're like warriors, like actual. Yeah. They like fought to get to it.
Yeah. I guess it's the way that we look at bears, right? For some reason, they look cuddly.
Yeah, Rogan talked about that once, and I
how
was
they
like, "That's
eat you,
brilliant."
They start at the ass, because usually their prey is running away, so they'll bite your ass and eat you ass first.
I didn't know that. That's horrifying. But yeah, they don't kill you before they eat you while you're alive, which is kind of hot, actually. If you think about it. Sorry. All right.
You pro-choice or?
That's a tough question to answer. I think yeah, but I'm not. I'm also.
You don't want to say dude absolutely?
Oh, was that the? Oh, okay.
I was just fucking.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm
gonna
if you
start
want to
saying
dive
that
into it,
now.
but that's a long topic to talk about.
No, I didn't want to talk about
Okay,
it.
cool. Me
I was
either.
just trying to
I hate talking about that. It's such a
trick
tough
you
thing.
into doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm dumb enough that I would totally fall for that.
I'm gonna start saying from now on. I said it on accident. I was trying to say I'm just fucking around, but I just said I'm just fucking. Just gonna start doing that from
That's
now on.
like kind of like one of my buddies. Instead of saying how you doing one time, he said how you sleeping, which is like actually a deeper question than you
Yeah.
think. Because like if somebody's sleeping poorly, they're not doing that well.
Yeah.
If they're sleeping well, they're probably doing well. You know?
That's so funny.
So it's like for a long time, I think still we kind of just like, what's up, boys? How you sleeping? It's like a thing. I love it. It's like one of my favorite things.
Dude, that's how we should open up.
How you
How
sleeping?
you
Man?
sleeping?
Yeah. All right. We could like pay homage to the boys.
Mental note.
The boys
yeah.
from My Mom Is Your Dad's Mom. That's the Snapchat group. It used to be My Dad Is Your Dad, and then it was My Dad Is Your Dad's Dad, and then there was this weird thing for a while where we go, hey, if my dad is your dad's dad, who am I? and then we'd be like, well, you're my uncle. And we'd be like, yeah, duh. But and
Nice.
then on Mother's Day last year, somebody changed the group name to My Mom Is Your Dad's Mom, and it's been that for a year. Same time next week?
Dude, absolutely.
Hell yeah, brother.
Dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, absolutely.